What's up, guys? Back again, this time with some really important news from an Arsenal perspective. We've got an update from David Ornstein, some information which has kind of come out of nowhere, but there's been rumours, and even from the kind of beginning of last season, it was clear that the writing was on the wall when it came to Aaron Ramsdale. So we're looking at a deal here where he'll be moving to Southampton for 25 million, including add-ons. They're talking about a base fee of around 18 million, 7 million for any add-ons potentially being based on Southampton's ability to stay up. And again, Arsenal will be looking for a replacement. So Ornstein goes on to say Arsenal will push ahead for João Garcia move. So he'll be moving potentially from Espanyol, goalkeeper who's represented Spain at a number of youth levels, was a Olympic gold medal winner. He's thought of quite highly in the Spain ranks, and it looks like Arsenal will be paying what seems to be a substantial fee. There's been reports that Arsenal will pay the release clause or close to it. Espanyol are demanding, which I believe is around 20 or so million pounds. Where do we start? So, firstly, before we move on to anything else, I think one, you've got to analyse the situation when Aaron Ramsdale came in. Leno was in goal. Leno was sort of fairly well within the Arsenal fan base. There was obviously an awareness that we could improve and go levels ahead. Ramsdale was not the natural choice from an Arsenal fan perspective. There were few backing the move. Some saw the potential, some had belief in the manager's ability to identify who could better the team. The transition from Leno to Ramsdale was quite swift and quite shocking for a couple of fans, to be honest with you, myself included. I thought it would be a little bit more gradual, but over time he proved and showed himself to be the person that Mikel Arteta actually wanted to play with. And so Ramsdale established himself. It took me a while to get on board, to be honest with you. I was apprehensive over the relegations. I did see the quality of him in terms of his shot stopping. Wasn't 100% certain of him as an overall goalkeeper for Arsenal, but he came in, and for large parts of his time Arsenal, he proved me wrong. I found myself at times saying, well, Ramsdale, you got me. But a lot of those instances were things I kind of had appreciated about him already. I already realized his greatness when it came to shot stopping. He is, I would say, an above average shot stopper. I'd say he's not elite, but he's definitely above average. And he's getting to, he would be towards that elite level. That's his standout ability. Next to that is his passion, and I'm sure he's going to bring that to Southampton. He had a lot of admirers in the Arsenal fan base. Once again, I was one who liked what he brought off the pitch. I didn't really have a problem with that, to be honest with you. What I did have a problem with, and what he continuously kind of showed weaknesses and a lack of, and I called it out very, very early, the middle of Arsenal's title race, not this season, but the season before. And yeah, just I was there at the game against West Ham. I saw the game against Southampton. Things like that I can't ignore. And fans who are, mindful and pay attention, these aren't natural, oh, I've just made natural mistakes. These are things that are fundamentally need to be looked at in terms of, can you trust this goalkeeper when it gets to, that critical time? And I don't think Mikel could trust Aaron Ramsdale. He thought he was a little bit too erratic, not the safest pair of hands. His distribution wasn't there. Even though he was, a personality in the dressing room, he was, as mentioned, an above average shot stopper. He just wasn't what we needed, and I think we've taken on leaps and bounds defensively with the calmness, with the play out of the back, with Raya being able to stretch himself and play as a ball playing centre back, which allows the centre backs to spread out, which allows the team to get higher up the pitch. His distribution, his claiming of the crosses. There's so many things that you can talk about. I'm not saying that Raya to me is the final and finished product and project, to be honest with you, but it's going to be very interesting to see how this move for Garcia for Arsenal is really going to play out, and what pressure that puts on Raya, because nobody at a top club, nobody, goalkeeper, centre back, left back, right back, whoever it is, should be feeling comfortable. You always feel an element of pressure. You have your star players, you have your role players, but people need to feel pushed. And felt Ramsdale got a little bit too comfortable, if I'm being honest with you. He got a little bit too comfortable, a little bit too complacent. He had the people like Matt Turner, who was there, and is no threat to him, no issue at all. And I felt like, to be honest with you, I don't think he fought for his place hard enough. The example I use, and maybe a little bit harshly, but you haven't played in the Euros, not one game, not 1 minute. You know that you're coming into the season as a number two. You may know that whatever relationship you have with Mikel Arteta to become number one again is over. But for your own integrity, for your own ability to get yourself out on the market to the best club possible, to show that you're still fighting, you've got that personality and that mentality, I would think you would come back early from pre-season, get some game time, and if Mikel isn't starting you and he's starting someone else, you have the right to question that and say, well, look, I'm here. You even put more pressure on the manager to play you in the preseason. You put him in more pressure on the club to get you out and sold, and it puts you on the shop window. I don't think he did that. I think he resigned himself to not being number one, and was quickly and efficiently looking for a move out of the club, whether that was Wolves. His preference would have been Southampton because he's got a soft spot for the club. And yeah, I don't have anything overly negative to say about Ramsdale. I appreciate his contribution. I appreciate the love he has for the club, and wish him the best, to be honest with you. But I think for Arsenal, this is the right move. For him, it's the right move. I think everything that I've kind of predicted with the situation, and I'm not always right, is actually proven to be right in this instance, that he is a good goalkeeper, but just a little bit too erratic, just can't be fully trusted in all the areas that you need a top class goalkeeper to be, and he's just below that echelon at the moment. And so hopefully Southampton can stay up, Arsenal can get their money, he can continue to play for Southampton, and maybe grow his reputation and see where that takes him. Another move which we spoke about already is the Eddie Nketiah deal, which we've already spoken about. Ramsdale's exit, which we've already spoken about, and two players who will be leaving Arsenal, two English players, two players who have represented their country for Arsenal, will be moving out. One who we know will be replaced by João Garcia. That seems to be a fairly straightforward move. Arsenal have been lining that up for quite a while now. Eddie Nketiah, there's been no talks about who will be coming in to replace him. There's been rumours. I've seen some wild ones. Nunes, which was ridiculous. Seen Victor Gokres, which we're looking at now. Nico Williams. Do Arsenal get a winger? Do Arsenal get a striker? With the goalkeeper, are we looking to sign 3 players in 2 days or 48 hours? Probably not. But for me, with who we've already sold, Fabio Vieira, who has gone out on loan, Eddie Nketiah, who's been sold to Crystal Palace. We've gotten rid of Ramsdale. Obviously, we're replacing with another goalkeeper. I think it's time to bring in, at least, for me personally, if Arsenal want to go into the Premier League, full confidence and put a stamp on saying this is what we're trying to make our season, you need a striker and you need a winger. I believe in Kai Havertz a lot, but you need a rotational option that you can trust, who offers something a slight bit different. Gabriel Jesus cannot be relied upon. He cannot be relied upon. I've said it before, I'll say it again. He's statistically one of the worst finishers in Premier League history. I didn't say that. That's what the stats say. And again, his injury history for the last 2 seasons has cost us. Finishing has either cost us, or his inability to be available when we need him has cost us. So for me personally, can't be relied upon. I was looking at him being a winger or a backup winger anyway. I wasn't looking at him providing, too much as a striker. I know he would have, but I wasn't looking at him being a reliable option, to be honest with you. So he can, fill in the gaps where possible. He can be that Reece for us on the wing and come in where possible. And that's no disrespect to Gabriel Jesus, but I'm not planning a Premier League title winning season around this Gabriel Jesus. No, can't do that. So Arsenal is going to be really interesting to see where they go with the striker talk. For me personally, it doesn't look like Victor Osimhen is even in the interest of Arsenal, Chelsea or Saudi for him. So I'll say if Arsenal can target a Victor Gokres or a Ivan Toney, potentially 40 mil, 30 mil, 50 mil, within that range, Brentford probably won't do a £30 million deal, to be honest with you. But getting him a different option, a physical option, someone who's knows the England setup and knows Saka and knows Rice, and it'll be interesting to see if the Euros had any impact on Arsenal's pursuit of him. But there's been barely nothing to say that Arsenal are looking at a striker, more on the winger front. Nico Williams would be the gem if Arsenal were able to get him, but it looks unlikely. He was on the bench for Bilbao in the game that they played today. Or we've heard about Simon Adingra, It would again be an amazing player for Arsenal to get, but it depends. You're looking at a high price that Brighton would charge as well. So I know Arsenal are looking for top quality players in the main. Hopefully that's something they can do. For me personally, as mentioned, three players will be the optimal. Probably won't happen. So can you get two players? It looks like it's going to be the goalkeeper and a winger, potentially someone to back up Saka, or add kind of competition to both the left wing and right wing. But we'll see who that will actually be. So again, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this. Please leave a like, please leave a comment. Just to mention quickly again, the Jao Garcia deal, which will potentially be moving forward. Now that Ramsdale will be moving on, we do need to have an understanding at the closing stages if Arsenal are going to push on and take not only this deal forward, but a major deal forward for a winger or a striker. The transfer market is heating up. Make sure to lock in, subscribe for more information and more videos, guys. I'll catch you in a bit. Peace.